We're going to go ahead and get started. Mrs. Huerta, would you please call the meeting to order?
Oh, sir, you can call. Yeah,
Oh,
you want to call? You can call me.
I'm calling the meeting to order.
I'll do the roll.
I'm just excited to be here today.
Yeah, okay.
So anyway, I'll call the meeting to order. If you could please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Chairman Everett Roy.
Present.
Board members Roland Barrera.
Here.
Sylvia Campos. Here. Eric Cantu is absent. Rudy Garza.
Here.
Paulette Guajardo. Gil Hernandez.
Here.
Kaylin Paxson is absent. Mike Pesley. Here. Mark Scott is absent. James Sedgwick. Here. Carolyn Vaughn. Here. Okay, we do have a quorum present to conduct the meeting.
I've always wanted to be a city secretary. Anyway, do we have anyone out that would like to make public comment? Is there any public comment? Mrs. Huerta, have you received any public comments?
No, sir.
Okay. The next item is the minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes?
Move to approve.
Okay, we have a move to approve the minutes. Do we have a second? We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes carry. Thank you. Next, we have our financial report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Included in your agenda packet are the unaudited financial statements as of September 30th, 2025. That is a snapshot in a period of time of fiscal year 2025. The numbers are not final. The audit is ongoing and is expected to be completed in early March. And so your bottom line numbers are subject to change. And so that's my quick disclaimer on the financial statements. We do have a brief presentation here on budget to actuals, as well as a schedule of projected commitments. And so this slide here is a reminder of the participants in the TIRZ include the City of Corpus Christi, Nueces County, and Del Mar College. And collectively, the purpose of the TIRZ is to foster economic development with a mixed approach. And jumping right into your budget to actuals as of September 30th, 2025, I'll go through these at a high level, and if there's any questions, please feel free to interrupt. Starting with the revenues, total revenues budgeted for the fiscal year 2025 were at $3.5 million. Revenues came in at $3.6, $42,000 ahead of budgeted revenue. Jumping down to total expenditures, total budgeted was $10.1. Funds spent as of September 30th amount to $3.1, and that leaves about $7 million of budget that's been committed but unspent. Jumping down to your bottom line, on a budget basis, we anticipate to end the year at 1.8. Where we ended up as far as actuals, we are at 8.8. Now that bottom line is subject to change. I can tell you as of today, that bottom line is now 8.4 as we continue to accrue expenditures, as GASB requires us to look at least 60 days ahead from the year end to make sure we're capturing all expenses to have the truest financial picture of this fund. Next slide here is your 5-year forecast of funds available for commitments. Again, these are estimates. And here you can see, if we jump over to your far right last column, 8.6 million is the estimated fund balance. And so here we see those future incentives and admin and other expenditures that haven't cleared on our financial statements, but we are projected those to clear before the audit is completed. So we start fiscal year 2026 with an estimated fund balance of 8.6. I do want to point out our estimated annual revenues here are a little more aggressive than our budget. On a budget basis for 2026, we estimated revenues at about 3.3. And so I just want to make a correction here on our forecast. We should have adjusted those prior to this presentation. But when we adjust those estimated revenues down to 3.3, your total available for commitments, we expect to end 2029 at about 2.6 million. And so then we'll also cover here the future incentives, admin, and other expenses, and upcoming slides.
And Sergio, if you don't mind, can you just stick on that for a minute? Because
Yes,
a project has been discussed that would take available funding. So the balance for fiscal year 26, the current fiscal year we're in, if we had a project, the available non-committed funds estimated is about $5 million. 5.5 or something?
Yes, sir.
Make your adjustment in the revenues? It's not 8 million, right? It's the 5 million?
That's correct. We're anticipating to end the year on a budget basis. This forecast here is based on the work paper that continues to evolve. Our forecast here shows 5.7, but if you jump into your 2026 adopted budget, the estimated ending fund balance is 5 million flat, 5,037,000.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So you end up with 5 million, but even though we end the fiscal year 2026 with 5 million, you have long-term commitments, and the purpose of this slide here is to show you those commitments come to fruition. You would end up at a 3.4 ending fund balance if revenues could grow up, increase to about 3.5. But with a conservative approach, we expect revenues to end at, fund balance to end closer to about 2.6
Okay.
for fiscal year 29. I'm sorry, make sure that's clear. Like, if all these commitments come to fruition, so it's like a running balance of fund balance. So we end 2026 at 5 million.
Yeah.
Commitments happen, revenues come in, we end up closer to about 2.6.
Okay, the board just needs we need clear direction on what's available if we want to do another project. You
Yes,
have to
sir.
figure, you're saying you have to anticipate all the way to 29? Is it,
Yes, because we do have commitments going out
Yeah.
that far.
okay. More like 3 million then is available?
Yeah, about 2.6 million is available.
2.6 million,
Right, with that's based on conservative revenue.
okay. Thank you. Just important to point out, because there's a lot of numbers, right? But I know there's a project that this board may discuss. So based on the long-term commitments and projecting revenues and expenditures over the 5-year period, if we brought another project forward, we would have 2.6 million available to spend on that project through 2029. But our commitments go out to 2029, so we have to be mindful of these future commitments so we don't get in a negative situation where we can't afford to pay the commitments that the board already approved. So I know the answer. I'm just kind of asking questions to point it out to the TIRZ board here. So if we brought another project forward today or tomorrow or next month, we could comfortably say we can allocate 2.6, and then we're at a break-even point over these next couple of years.
That's correct.
There would be no more room for any other project
Yes, sir.
if you spent all 2.6.
Correct.
Okay, I know we've got a couple questions. Before we get to that, I want to just ask one question. So will you reflect this updated number in the next financial report?
Yes, with the October financials, we'll update the estimated revenue and then make any adjustments that have fallen through from the audit as far as actual ending fund balance.
Okay.
For fiscal year 25. So we want to make sure our starting point for fiscal year 2026 is the truest it can be. 8.6 seems to be pretty close. We don't anticipate any more invoices clearing. So the next step is to true up our estimated annual revenue to the fiscal year 2026 budget. So instead of 3.5 annually of revenue, that would be 3.3 million per year. And so yes, we'll true up those numbers. And so you can see the 2.6 reflected on the schedule here.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Board Member Sedgwick.
Yes, sir. So when I look at the details back here, we've got additional expenditures from 31 through 41 that are shown, for instance, commitments, project-specific. We've got 1.8 shown in fiscal years 31 through 41. Is that included in this last number through 29?
No, so the schedule only goes up to 2029, and then this project-specific development would be based on incremental increase of tax revenue. So we exclude those from this presentation because we keep our revenues flat. So if there is an increase in revenue, those increases would fund these project-specific.
Okay, so then if I look at the Downtown Living Initiative, there's also something in fiscal year 30 there of another 700,000, 765.
Yes, so that would be beyond 2029. If the TIRZ is extended, we would have to cover those as well.
So just trying to understand here, so as Mr. Zanoni was saying, we really have 2.6 available looking at this for future commitments, but then there's another 700,000 and maybe another 900,000 in streetscape and safety?
Yes, sir. We do have commitments beyond that. What's not reflected is the revenues that would match that. And so we would have to build out that schedule of, let's say, 10 years out, so we can see the revenues and expenditures lining up.
So is it fair to say we really don't have a good handle on exactly what we do have for future commitments?
No, we do have a forecast here that we forecast conservatively at budgeted revenues, and we do have the list of commitments. What is a moving target is the actual earning of those commitments, and so depending on when those projects are completed, it's really timing of those. We know collectively we're committed, let's say, $1.3 million to Hilton Spark, and we're forecasting, the team forecast, $691,000 2026. Well, will that really happen or not depends on any delays on the project, and so really estimating those actual expenses is probably challenging to the team for budgeting purposes. But when we look at it holistically, we do our best to be conservative. So fiscal year 2026, so give it 2025 as a prime example, we anticipate to end the year at 1.8, and so some of those expenditures didn't come forward. And so although it shows an available fund balance of about $8 million, that money's committed for those projects.
Right.
So yeah, I think we have a pretty good handle. It's just the timing of those expenditures.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Board Member Campos?
Thank you, Chairman. Okay, so how can you make this more understandable or more presentable so that we can keep up with the numbers? Because even though you present this, I'm glad that our city manager was able to say, well, in actuality, it's really, about 2.6. So is there a method, is there something more that can be done to really try to keep track, with this, with our predictions and with our actual presentation? Is that?
Well, we do have, the schedule does probably is the best presentation that's available because it does have a conservative look forward on your revenues. And the expenditures are really based on estimates. And so it is a true snapshot. Here, there's a timing delay between our deadline to get these reports put together versus the adoption of the budget. And so this is as of September 30th, it's reflecting proposed budget numbers. And so as those numbers were adjusted for year end, we needed to come in here and update these to give you the truest picture that we can based on the information we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I guess then we're just going to have to make sure that, we're all keeping track with the actual investment, not the investment, but the revenues coming in. Like you say, you don't really know. I mean, you think you're going to get this amount of money, but sometimes it, goes down and sometimes it goes up. So that, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I thought that you might have it, apparently.
Yeah, I think coming in October, we'll give you a better picture. That gives us an opportunity to true up. What makes it challenging right now is the year-end audit. So as expenses are clearing in October, November, those get moved back to September. And so it's really a time issue at this point of the year to really clean up the books. So once the audit is complete, or even before that, we'll have a very true picture of the TIRZ. I would expect by the end of this month, we'll have our hard cutoff. So we'll have a true picture of September 30th. So starting in October, November, you'll have a better picture of the numbers we're speaking of.
Okay, and the audit is being conducted by?
Weaver.
Okay, and so it is something that we do regularly, right? At how many?
Yes, it's
Every 5 years or every what?
it's our annual external audit. So
it's every year?
Yes, every year they do a financial audit of the city's
Okay.
financials.
All right,
Yeah, and
all right, well, thank you. Thank you,
Yes.
Sergio.
Board Member Pusley?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So in other words, another way to say what you're saying a while ago is the fact that some of these projects may never come to fruition. As a matter of fact, and I've talked about this before, we have to look at the length of time we carried some of these things on our books. We carried the 600 building on here for years, and it never came to fruition, but yet we showed that as an expenditure that we had to be responsible for. So I think in your audit, one of the things you need to look at is how long some of these have been on the books and whether or not they're actually ever going to come to fruition. Thank you.
So I have additional question.
yes, sir.
Is it possible to put a footnote? Because one of the things that you mentioned is that at this, especially this time of the year, you're catching up in terms of posting your expenses and that. Can we put something at the bottom that basically says that this report's based on expenses up until this point in time? I think that would just help us in terms of understanding where we're at with the financials. And the other thing is, why 9 years? How come not 10 years? For example, why is 9 the magical number in terms of projecting?
Oh, we did a 5-year projection. That's just
Say that again.
It was a 5-year projection. That's what we're presenting here. Oh, as far as the spreadsheet, I think some of those commitments go up. Let me look into that. Let me get you back.
I'm just curious because I think, I mean, 2 things we have to remember when we're looking at this, understanding where we're comparing the financials from during what time frame. And then the second thing is, okay, we're going out to year number 9. And again, like some of the other board members said, depending on those projects, we do need to look at when do we take the projects off our books. If it comes back on, that's fine. And is there a recommended time? So I'd like to see us come up with a recommended time that project sits dormant, that we may have to take it off. I've got, we've talked about a couple projects there, and I know we've had, I don't even want to use the word setbacks, but we've had some issues on several projects that are right now just kind of sitting in a hold status. So I think we ought to look at that.
Yes, sir. Based on the
Yeah, I agree, Councilman. It should be based on, and I'll work with Sergio on it, and Councilwoman for Compos's question. It's just a matter of presenting this in a little more understandable way, so we'll work on that for the next meeting. The data's all here, just if there's a commitment that the board has made, and it goes all the way out to a year, say 2041, then that's what the forecast has to be, all the way up to that commitment, because there's an obligation to pay the commitment, so we'll forecast it out for the entirety of it.
Yes, sir.
Because what you need to know is really the simple number is how much is available for another project or projects.
And
Yeah.
I want to make sure, can we recommend that for the other TIRZ too? Because I think
Yes.
if we're having this issue, I think it's a good recommendation
Right,
across
yeah.
the board.
We'll do that for all of them.
So thank you. Are there any other questions? Just a quick comment. Okay. Board Member Guajardo.
Yeah, just a quick comment to follow up on that. And Jim, thank you for bringing that up, because I think whether, it's written, and I think sometimes y'all have to be very careful with what's written and how it's done or said. You asking those questions is what, brought about the answers. And to your point, Sylvia, I think it's simply put, we have this much, we really don't have this much because of these, these projects coming or forthcoming. And then what the reality is, which is 2.6, right?
2.6, at least through 2029, but there's other commitments that have been identified.
And like you just said, Peter, it needs to at least be part of the presentation where you let us know that information, because these numbers are all good and they're important, but at the end of the day, there's probably a handful, if that are extremely important that we need to know, verbally or in presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Seeing that there's no other questions, I guess, are you, oh, I'm sorry.
yeah.
Board Member Garza.
I think I'd be a little bit too, I wouldn't be doing my duty if I don't point out a couple of things. I mean, if you're saying that you're taking the most conservative approach in terms of revenue, okay, you really aren't. I mean, quite frankly, if you're depending on some tax increases that haven't been either approved or passed, those tax increases might not come about if you have a different body up there or you have a different mix up there. The other side of it is you're also assuming, you're making a huge assumption, and I know that, I've made a couple of references to the fact that we have to keep making sure that we've got money for incentives, particularly in those areas where I think the other taxing entities might feel important or concerned about. I think, again, we took all the money from the incentives, and I didn't ever believe that the 600 building was going to happen, but I did think that having the money for downtown living initiatives, I think, was important in order to actually, because you can throw money at projects and hope that something sticks, but at the end of the day, I think you're going to need to have some living activity downtown, I mean, in order for it to be sustainable over a long period of time. So you're assuming that the Del Mar College taxing district is going to continue, or Del Mar College is going to continue to participate. And again, as long as there's plans in there that are going to accomplish what the board thinks is going to happen, then they're likely to continue to participate. The other side of it, I think that I've heard a couple of comments from Commissioner Pusley about the same, I'm going to say, rumblings from the Commissioner's Court. And I know I've heard talk about them possibly needing some funds from the TIRZ for the demolition of the courthouse. And so again, if we don't do the things that the other taxing entities think we should be doing, regardless of who's here, whether I'm here, Commissioner Pusley, or somebody else, at the end of the day, it's going to have to be a collective conversation. So you're assuming that those two taxing entities are going to continue to participate beyond what we've currently committed to. And so again, that's not set in stone. And I think it is a good idea for us to come up with strategies, I think, over a 5-year period, so that we actually believe that we're going to accomplish what we're setting out to accomplish.
And
I've tried to have conversations with different folks on the board and staff, and I guess I don't think I've been heard. And so that's why I'm talking about it in open session.
so, City Manager, one of the things I know from a banking perspective that we do this, so we don't have this problem, what you're describing, is that we set concentrations, and depending on different types of projects. And I think maybe that's what we need to look at, is that we have X amount set over for this, X amount for that, X amount for this, because all of a sudden tomorrow, and it happens, if somebody pops up, and I'm not trying to offend any hoteliers, but if somebody pops up and says, well, we want to build another hotel, and we want X amount of dollars, we look at that project and we think, okay, there's some benefit to that. But I think maybe what we need to do is look at concentrations when we develop our next strategy or budget, so that we know, well, wait a minute, we need to focus on this area, we need to focus on that area, and focus on this other area.
Yeah, that's a good point, Councilman. We can give some recommendations to the full board on investment percentages, right? That's what you're
It's
referring
really
to?
so that we're not top-heavy on
Yeah.
one particular area, and that's
Right.
kind of what I hear Board Member Pusley saying, and some of the other board members.
Right, yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
We can look at some historical actuals and then some recommendations to move forward,
All right.
working with the DMD as well.
Thank you. Board Member Guajardo.
Yes, quickly, to that point, and I've had this conversation with our city manager, I think, and maybe a couple council members, we need to have a policy for creating TIRZ, and that everything we're talking about would fall under creating a policy. Right now, you guys, the county, I'm sorry, Commissioner, y'all have, or you're creating one now. I think, right, y'all are in the midst of creating one now. And I think it's something. Yeah, right. And I think that's in negotiation, but I think it's very important. Everything we're talking about is, there's no real law and order in when does a TIRZ get created? Who gets to raise their hand and say, I get a TIRZ? How much money do you get? To your point, there's no concentration. And I think we need to have that. Those guidelines are extremely important, especially when you're talking about, Rudy, what you're saying is extremely valid. James, what you're saying, James, getting formal here. But that all falls under creating a policy. So I don't know, I know we've talked about it, Peter, but do you need direction in doing that, or can staff work on creating this policy at this time?
Yeah, right. We don't need direction, so we're working on creating policy. We're just balancing it with workload.
Yeah.
So we'll have it at some point. I'll have a better estimate of when we can bring something forward.
That's fine.
Right now, the same team leads are working on the American Bank Center, or the Hilliard Center, I should say. Both with the PFZ and the 1/8 cent sales tax.
Right.
We have to develop a program for the city council on those two things. So that's a higher priority, and there's only so much time and staff. So
No,
that's
and I'm
right.
not saying it to
I
rush
understand,
or to
right.
demand. I'm saying
Yeah.
it just, if you need direction from this body, then I'm
No.
certainly happy to do
Yeah.
that. But I think it's important. And I think everything we're talking about has to do with creating policy, so that we know what is happening, how it will move forward in a more organized way.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Seeing that there's no other questions, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to the agenda item number 3. It's a motion to approve a downtown development agreement with Coastal Cowboy Construction, LLC, for improvements to the property located at 1218 2nd Street.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Arlene Medrano, Executive Director of the Downtown Management District. Today I have with me the Garza family, who are the developers on this project. It's called the Quad on 2nd, and it's located at 1218 2nd Street. And just for reference, that is, if you can imagine, the helipad at Spawn Hospital. It's across the street from there, adjacent to their parking lot across the street. So this is a great news item for the TIRZ number 3. It fulfills new development on vacant land. It's infill housing on vacant land, and it's targeting a demographic that does need housing within our city, and that's our medical field. So we're talking residents, nurses, medical professionals, and this is urban life, modern living, where they can live there and then walk across the street to their workplace. So the owner, Lance Garza, envisions a complete transformation of a vacant lot into a 4-unit market rate apartment building, calling it the Quad on 2nd. It would be 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath units with a modern, efficient design. The project scope includes construction of a 4-unit apartment building, new tenant parking spaces, a pin pad gate, landscaping, exterior lighting, and security cameras. So those are the elements that we would support the project with. We're proposing downtown living initiative, which right now the project and financing plan provides $30,000 per unit to help us incentivize those residential, that residential living within the TIRZ, and then as well as the streetscape and safety program incentive at $42,550 with an estimated completion date of November of 2027. Lance is a 3rd-generation Corpus Christi native. He graduated from University of Texas, San Antonio with a degree in business. He's been working in construction in the Austin area for the last 5 years, and he's been managing construction of single-family homes ranging in value from $750,000 to $1 million for Blackburn Homes. These are some photos of previous projects that Mr. Garza has completed. This slide shows our uptown residential projects. Well, not R as in TIRZ, but R as in the city and just in general. You have Bay Vista Apartments, which is market rate living. You have Fish Pond, which is senior living. And then you have Palms at Blucher, which is low income housing. And so this market rate housing that Mr. Garza is proposing is a great addition to the housing stock within the TIRZ. This is the current site of the proposed development. Everything surrounding this development is very aged. There hasn't been new development in this neighborhood in at least 50 years. The house on the corner, it's like an 8-plex built in 1914, neighboring 1950. Other neighbor, 1973. So this is a much needed new development, infill housing, perfect place for it. This is project concept level, first floor. It's 2-story units. So this is the level 1 floor plan. So it's 2 bedrooms with a study, or it can be used as a 3rd bedroom. This is 2nd level. And then these are some exterior project concepts. So it would have 2 parking units per, 2 parking spaces per unit. And then that's the gate and some drought-resistant landscaping. Interior projects concept, so again, modern design. And total request for incentive is $162,550. I stand by for any questions.
Board Member Pusley?
Yeah, thank you. Arlene, did you say these are 1 bedroom, or how many bedrooms did you say each unit would have?
So it's up to 3 bedrooms, sir. It's the plan shows 2 bedrooms, and then there's a study area that, if you get 3 residents or they all want to live in the spot, someone gets a smaller bedroom.
Okay,
Or it can be their study room,
okay.
their office.
Yeah, I think this is a great project. Is this landscaping that's shown on this presentation, is that going to be required as part of our streetscape improvement?
That's part of what we're incentivizing for streetscape, for curb appeal, for the improvement of the neighborhood, which it would really be. The plants that are in the image are probably, those are like generic design plans. I don't know how specific you can get in CAD with designing those, but they would be drought-resistant landscapes.
And the gating and fencing around the property, is that going to be included as well?
Yes, that's part of what is being incentivized today.
Okay. Okay, well, the only 2 concerns I have about this are, number one, the parking, with only 2 parking places per unit, and some of these possibly being 3-bedroom, that's going to really crowd that parking area, so you're going to end up with all those cars on the street. So, and that's not I drove down there the other day, that's not a very wide street. So.
The developer did express that they could potentially do tandem parking. They're going to look at the site plan to see if they could do tandem parking around the back if they need to, based on occupancy.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Based on that, I'd make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We also have Board Member Campos.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Okay, well, I am glad that someone is willing to make some nice apartments in that area, and I think it does, it will help, our medical. But it leads me to, well, I've been asking, what would that bring as far as living residences in the downtown area? Some people, I had heard that we have up to 4,000 people living there. Is that true? If not, I'd like to know that number. Do we know how many residents live in the downtown district?
I know we have about 1,200 units as far as the number of people living in there. I don't have that number off the top of my head, but I'll email it to you after the meeting.
Well, that would always help in the presentation, because we do need to, I feel, add to that number, and because along with that, you need other amenities. We need to make sure that we have hair salons or whatever, But yeah, this is really a great site, and I wish them well. Yes, I will be supporting this as well.
Thank you. And this is really the first project in the next tranche of our 5-year, so RCLCO, which is a national real estate company. So they provided a study that said basically every year the market within the TIRZ can absorb 100 units. So we've already completed, we got 500 units in the first 5 years. So this is starting the next 5 years, and we're starting small. We are the tortoise, not the hare. We are long and steady sort of building here within the TIRZ. And so we're very excited for this project to really be the first of several. We have several more in the pipeline.
And I also believe that, any area should have mixed housing. What is the amount of money or the amount of apartments, like you mentioned, which the Palms at Blucher Park is low income. How do we continue to make sure that we have a mixture of residents or, homes that people can afford? It's nice to have a high end, but I think it's also good to have a mixture of incomes living in all our areas. So how do you keep up with that? How do you know what to ask for? Arlene?
So the market really dictates that. So, for example, Prospera came to the city, and I believe they received support from the city for that unit. They identify a need, and they fill it. And then with Fish Pond, so he moved, he built that as to move those seniors out of Seagull Villa so that he could create market rate apartments there. So it's really what the market dictates. And there's only so much that the area can absorb as far as
Okay.
housing. We also don't want to overbuild and then lose a competitive market. And so it's important that it happens. Right now it's happening, it has happened perfectly.
Okay, well, good, I'm glad.
Happening
Again,
right
yeah.
on schedule.
Okay, well, I am glad to hear that. But, and again, I do want to hear, about the residents, how many actually live there. I mean, I know people visit and things like that, but it would be nice so that we have an ongoing number.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Board Member Guajardo?
I know we have a motion in a second, but I just wanted to take a minute and thank the Garza family. Thank y'all for investing in Corpus Christi and for being here today. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have DMD updates.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Arlene Medrano, Executive Director of the Downtown Management District. We didn't get to do DMD updates at the last board meeting. We ran out of time, but I'm going to cover a little bit of items that might seem a little aged because we didn't get to talk about them last time. But in our placemaking division, we made improvements to our most historical attraction and landmark in the city of Corpus Christi. Our Artesian Park is 171 years old and receives 50,000 visits annually. A lot of that programming is from Art Walk, but just a couple weeks ago, the Daughters of the American Revolution donated a historical plaque commemorating the 250th birthday of our country, and so it continues to be an important historical site for our community. We did a landscape transformation. It was looking really bad. We finally, it's been on the service plan for about 5 years, but we finally connected with the Botanical Gardens, with Dr. Womack out there, who offered some really great recommendations for drought tolerant, and then also basically telling us there's no hope for anything to survive in some of these areas of the park. And so we put river rock in its place because of the activity. It's going to get trampled on or it'll never survive. And so it looks fantastic for residents and visitors and for all of the events that are hosted in the park throughout the year. We kicked off our holiday series 2025. Some of you were present at the lighting of the Port Holiday Tree. These initiatives are presented by our Downtown Revitalization Alliance and our private sector partners. And so this is Artesian Park Winter Wonderland, where we wrapped 25 trees in colorful lights and then attached bows and tags indicating the sponsor. In economic development, we currently have 12 projects under construction. That's the list of them there. We have 11 in pre-development and 5 in permit pending. We don't have any in reimbursement currently, and the ones that are reimbursement indicate that the project is complete and we are auditing the project before processing reimbursement. So we don't have any of those right now. Everything is in one of these 3 phases. Just a quick update on some of the projects that we haven't touched on in a while. Hotel Indigo update. So they had to get through their busy season, get some of that revenue in, and so now they're clearing out the units. They did get, that's their model room. So they develop the model room, get the brand to approve it, and so after their busy season, you might see construction happening there. They're clearing out the units right now. So estimated completion is January 31, 2027. Hilton Spark, so another little bit of a lane closure there as they continue work on the fire suppression system. So they were required, that was sort of a surprise expenditure there, $2 million, which has delayed them getting started on full construction, yeah. So estimated timeline, December 31, 2026. We did celebrate the grand opening of Adelpho's Coffee Shop. They have a Southside location on Everhart, so we were very excited to welcome them into Furman Foundry. And we did that ribbon cutting during the October Art Walk. Councilmember Campos was there to celebrate with us. They have a great product, and it's in a great, inside of a great office building, so visit it if you have not yet. Street Corner by Lowly's, another TIRZ project. Ribbon cutting was celebrated at the November Art Walk, and so they are now the third food truck to brick and mortar conversion in downtown. So, you know, we talk about the economic impact of Art Walk. This is just another one of those stories where you have people who have a dream to start a business, they start small, and now they're building, and I fully believe that they will franchise one day. And a really great story is their grandfather was the chef at City Diner, and so, you know, that was across the street there, and so now they are in the location across the street, and I imagine that decades from now, they'll have the same legacy as their grandfather. As a reminder, we do actively support downtowntx.org. It's an online building inventory for all Texas downtowns to showcase commercial properties for sale and lease, and we do update it monthly, or as often as we need to when properties go for sale. So if, I'm saying this for your sake, but also for the public's sake, for anyone who is in the market looking to buy or sell a property in downtown, please reference our website, downtowntx.org, and it has our contact information on there as well. In our promotions department, we, again, this is more specific about, you know, the foot traffic for each of our events. So for the Corpus Christi holiday tree lighting, we had pictures with Santa, lighting of the 18-foot tree, and we had 13,900 visitors to the Art Walk footprint and 26,000 in the Marina Arts District on Friday, November 7th. This is the holiday series that we have going on. This is the busiest time for the Downtown Management District all year because of the series of programming that we put on for the holidays. So we did the lighting of the Peppermint Lane on Sunday. We had a fantastic turnout from the community. We've never seen a turnout that big. We have to wait 2 to 3 days before we get the numbers on that, but we will have those shortly, and we'll provide those at one of our next meetings. Councilman Roy was able to give some speaking points along with sponsor AEP Texas. And so we look forward to Mayor Sparkling Christmas Light Contest, Christmas Tree in Water's Edge Park, Illuminated Bow Parade, and Letters to Santa presented by Clayburgh Bank. So we hope to see you all at any of these events. Okay, in organizational management, I'm happy to unveil, now this is just a proposal, right? We're not making any decisions, but what do y'all think? So the one on the right. So it's been 17 years of TIRZ number 3, and we would love the opportunity to promote TIRZ 3 as a body, as an entity. 85 projects this board through the years has supported, and anytime we talk about it, it's, you know, we have to have your individual logos, and so we would love the opportunity to present it all as one. It's the running 3 was inspired by the running A of the Type A board, and so really this is for discussion at this point, but we would love to put it on yard signs and stick them outside projects that are supported by TIRZ that are under construction, and then do like window stickers for completed projects.
That's good.
Any feedback?
Board Member Campos.
I have a feedback. I like the one on the right. Yeah.
Is that the running 3 or the semicircle?
No,
Your right or my right?
let me see, the one that's got the circle with
Okay,
the new bridge.
Okay.
Yeah. I like that.
Okay.
And are we already set on the colors, I guess?
So thank you for asking. So the colors, the dark blue is meant to resemble the blue that's coincidentally and very conveniently in all of our logos. And then the green is the Nueces County green in their logo.
Okay. Well, I thought, I thought we had more pink, y'all. Do we not? It's
Our DMD logo is the navy blue.
We need some Delmar colors in there, too.
They're navy blue.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Blue and,
Well,
There you
that's
go.
county with the green, but yeah.
Okay. It'd be nice to throw in a little pink.
Okay.
all right.
And that's all I have for you today.
Oh, Board Member Paxton. That's my bad.
There we go. Thank you, Chairman. These both look great. It's inspiring to see these fresh, new ideas, and I can't wait to see them branded all over downtown. You guys are doing such a phenomenal job. My first instinct is I like the running 3. I know Run Club is a huge portion of downtown. I like it. It looks, to me, very modern and clean, but I know we've been very consistent with branding some of our cityscape silhouettes, and so the semicircle is nice. I would almost wonder if you put like a little, almost like a glimmer, like a gilding on the top of the buildings and maybe the bridge, so it comes three-dimensional off the picture. But other than that, I appreciate your presentation and all the information. Keep up the great work, and it was so fun to participate in the tree lighting, so thank you.
Thanks for being there.
Okay, well, seeing that there's no further questions, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you.